power. If no one's told you lately, because everything is perfect, but because I'm done waiting for. Welcome back to Power Moves, the space where strategy meets soul and your struggle becomes your superpower. I'm your host, Sash, a Jamaican Ethiopian woman in finance, a builder of bold futures, and a woman who had to become the power I was praying for. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been so low you questioned if you were really strong to begin with? Because I've been there. And I know some of you listening, you're either in that place now or you're still pretending you never were. This episode isn't about a sad story. It's about the moment I decided this pain won't break me. It will build me. So, if you're in the middle of something hard, this is for you. At 24, my life looked good from the outside. I had the clothes, the car, the man, the image. People thought I was living some kind of glam life. But what they didn't know was that underneath that image, I was drowning. I had just ended a long-term relationship, one I thought would have been my forever. I was living with someone for years, sharing a home, but losing myself more every day. And when it ended, I didn't just lose the relationship, I lost everything. A home, no car, no job, no real friends. Nobody I could call without them trying to use me or even talk down to me. And you know what's worse than losing everything? Feeling like you're invisible. I had money saved and still it couldn't fix me. I could have had $1 million drop in my lap and I still wouldn't have known where to start. I had to face something a lot of us run from. I wasn't in the mess because I was weak. I was there because I hadn't healed. I had buried my trauma so deep under ambition and aesthetics that I didn't even realize I'd built my identity around survival. And survival has an expiration date when you're trying to build a life. So I had to ask myself the question we all avoid. Is the life you're living even yours, or is it a mask you have worn to hide the pain? Because when you don't know who you are anymore, nothing can save you externally. Not even a fresh start in a new country. I had just moved to America for grad school. I had $45,000 in tuition on my shoulder, no sponsors, no family in Ohio, no safety net, just me, a prayer, and a plan I wasn't even sure was going to work. People saw potential, but I saw pressure. I couldn't afford to fail. So every day, I wore resilience like armor and still cried behind closed doors. I was healing from a breakup, working multiple jobs, and studying financial markets with a mind barely holding itself together. That wasn't luck, that was survival dressed as success. And that's what this episode is about. Because some of you listening right now are smiling in public and suffocating in private. You're applauded for your strength, but nobody sees the storm you're surviving. Let me say this clearly. Strength isn't the absence of struggle. Power isn't always loud. And sometimes survival is the most sacred form of success. You can't just think positive when your world is falling apart, but you can choose perspective. When I was 24, I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And I started declaring, this is happening for something in me. That shift didn't take away the pain, but it gave the pain purpose. I remembered who I was before the breakup, before the confusion, before the losses. I said, you have made power moves happen before. Why not now? Only this time, I wasn't moving out of desperation. I was moving with discipline and strategy. Mindset isn't pretending things are fine. It's choosing not to let pain make you forget your power. Mindset is a mirror. It reflects what you believe you deserve. Pain is a teacher, but mindset is a translator. It's not about toxic positivity. It's about trained perspectives. I didn't rebuild my life off a man, not family, not handouts. I built it off grits. And I realized something. There's a difference between being hurt and being helpless. When I owned my pain, I took my power back. I started small. Boundaries, quiet mornings, discipline over distraction, saying no to what broke me, even when it was familiar. And that, my friend, was the birth of power moves. Pain isn't proof that you're broken. Pain is the invitation to transform. You're not crazy. You're being called to higher heights. And if you're in the middle of that low point, don't stop here. Sometimes you don't hit rock bottom, you hit realignment. Closed doors don't mean denial, they mean direction. When life strips you bare, it's preparing you to rebuild with bricks, not bandages. Power isn't given, it's grown through pressure. You don't need to be fully healed to start moving forward. You just need to believe that the future version of you is worth fighting for. Nobody clapped when I made payments on time. Nobody saw the nights I studied through panic attacks. Nobody reposted my grind when it wasn't glamorous. But I kept going because discipline is the drumbeat of destiny. You walk in rhythm, even when no one else hears the music, even when you're hurting inside, even when you're scared of failing. And you know what? I used to think I was late to love, late to wealth, late to life. But listen to me. You're not late. You're layered. You're not lost. You're in the making. Comparison is the thief of clarity. Purpose isn't rushed. It's revealed. You're not a failure. You're a foundation in progress. If you're walking through hell right now, keep walking, because what breaks you can also build you. If you let it, you don't need permission to pivot. You don't need applause to evolve. You just need to decide that you're not settling where life left you. I built this podcast because I know how dark it can get. But I also know what's possible when you stop letting your pain define you and start letting it refine you. If this spoke to you, share it to someone who needs this reminder. You are always allowed to start over, as many times as it takes. You are allowed to cry and still be called powerful. You are allowed to be a work in progress and still be worthy of success. This is not weakness. This is your power forming shape. This is Power Moves. And baby, this is just the beginning. Catch you on episode 3. Thank you.